Now that the CM Punk has returned to WWE saga is over, the wrestling world is already gobbling up the next opportunity to speculate on who they or will they or when are they gonna return to WWE. And that next big name is Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Mone. Yes, is she bound for a WWE return? Given that she was on a per-event deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, the door seems open for a return to WWE, a little over after a year of her unceremonious exit from the company. We'll touch on that a little bit later. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin. Get into the comments below and tell us how you want to see Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone return to WWE. She didn't have the happiest end to her first run in WWE. It was disappointing to fans to see one of the four horsewomen leave so abruptly. But within a short time, she'd already gotten to live out her dream and wrestle on the big stage in Japan. So what exactly is Sasha Banks going to WWE as a current possibility? According to one recent report from Fightful, allegedly there had not been an agreement on salary part of things. Sasha Banks supposedly wants a deal that is worth more than the new contract that Charlotte Flair signed, reportedly making her the highest paid woman in WWE history. To put that into perspective, from the Mirror put out a list of WWE salaries in 2022, Becky Lynch was said to be the highest paid woman on the roster at $3 million a year. She was also joint the 6th highest paid wrestler overall on the roster with Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. Our only response is to pay her the damn money. But there is some conflicting reports about all. She may not have come to terms with AEW, WWE's arch rival that put her on camera at their massive All-In show in London, but she did not perform on the show, obviously. The WWE is a different monster altogether right now under the leadership of Triple H and under the majority ownership of TKO. Remember how the entire build-up to Survivor Series, virtually every report said that it wasn't happening with CM Punk? WWE even made sure to throw Randy Orton's return as an official announcement ahead of the show, only to subvert expectations and have the shocking ending of CM Punk coming out at the end of the show, truly flipping the entire wrestling world on its head. Is that something that WWE wants to do again? Is this just a shell game to keep us out of the loop with what's going on with her? Even if she's only wrestled 5 matches since leaving WWE, she supposedly made a lot of money for it while fulfilling her obligations with New Japan Pro Wrestling, given that it's still one of the most popular wrestlers in the world that is in play here. Regardless whether she's a woman or a man, her time in WWE could be a defining part of her legacy now under the very different circumstances. Still, it is unclear whether or not Mercedes Mone will go back to banking on WWE. Big Papa Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, scooped this at the end of December, saying on Wrestling Observer Radio that she was absolutely talking with WWE from what I was told. They were far apart on money. There was one person in WWE who said, until she shows up and signs a contract, just remember what happened with Punk. I was told that this afternoon, just remember what happened with Punk. I was told that by multiple people. They were far apart on money. And given that things are going great for WWE overall right now, it seems like a good time for her to come home, as many fans would describe it. So how would we do that on screen? Let's get into that part. For us, the perfect place to start is no hotter storyline with the women in WWE on Raw or SmackDown than the internal struggle within Damage Control, involving Bayley, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Although it took a while for them to get momentum after that big return at SummerSlam more than a year ago, the additions of Asuka and the returning Kairi Sane to the faction have been huge. But it's also come at a cost because Bayley, once the leader and true instigator of this disruptive faction, seems to have been booted out of the de facto leader of the group role and replaced by Dakota Kai. Interesting, considering that she's still recovering from an ACL injury. Dakota has become a bit more of a mastermind, while Bayley seems to be getting pushed out. She's overdue for a change in her character after spending 4 years as a bad girl doing bad things. This is exactly where Sasha Banks is going to come in. And considering the history between Sasha and Bayley is so intertwined, it makes a lot of sense to make history repeat itself and prove that destiny can fold over once more. Back in 2015 at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, they had a match that is still considered one of the best women's matches in WWE history. That that has cemented their names together in history and allows them a great point to jump back on and do something interesting. Anyway, you go through the entirety of January with the constant tease of Bayley getting booted out of Damage Control without it actually happening. And since Kairi Sane and Asuka are the only two Damage Control members apart from Bayley who can participate in the Women's Royal Rumble, have a story to play out there, it can be an easy moment where Asuka and Kairi try to eliminate Bayley when 3, 2, 1, Sasha Banks makes her shocking return as the last entrant in the match. This wasn't supposed to happen. Damage Control is quickly turning on Bayley. We don't need you. We don't want you anymore. And Bayley's got a backup plan to, for a lack of a better phrase, bank on. You're probably going to get an Edge 2020 Royal Rumble kind of pop, or at least something close to that, which is good enough. Imagine the final four of Bayley, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. That would be insane. It would create the perfect boiling point moment for Damage Control to throw in Dakota Kai at ringside, and the drama would be electric. Bayley would be expected to eliminate Sasha Banks first, with the three of them ganging up on her, but instead, Bayley uses that opportunity to eliminate both Asuka and Kairi. Oh, double treachery is about. It's really hard to choose who to pick, as the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble becomes something of making two arguments. One argument to be made is that Sasha Banks is the one with the explosive momentum, fresh from this return, minutes fresh from this return, and you would want to have them win that Royal Rumble going into WrestleMania, besides ever won the Rumble before. Also, character-wise, this would slingshot her out of a submissive role that she's been playing in the Damage Control faction to once again being a needle-moving badass. Apart from headlining WrestleMania and winning the Royal Rumble, it is the only accolade she has yet to achieve in the WWE. And to top it off, the Damage Control storyline is almost a year and a half in the making at this point. She's probably more deserving of the winning role, given how important she's been to WWE over the last 4 years, enduring an injury and truly being one of the best performers during the pandemic era. Either way, if you have Sasha Banks win the Royal Rumble, and then Damage Control storyline comes to an end right after Royal Rumble, leading to Bayley versus Io Sky in a title match at Elimination Chamber, that would not be a bad scenario to play out here. In this case, Bayley wins the Women's Championship to set up a blockbuster WrestleMania clash against her former tag team partner, now rival once again. And given how many times they've faced each other, they've never actually had that WrestleMania singles match with each other. Let's just settle on Bayley winning the Rumble. It's a more logical option, and then you can set up Sasha Banks versus Io Sky at Elimination Chamber, where Sasha wins the Women's Championship. Either way, Banks versus Bayley at WrestleMania is a great alternative to Bayley versus Io. We are sorry to the Io Sky fans out there. This is no shot at you. The only real downside of this is that the Damage Control storyline ends up being second fiddle to Sasha and Bayley. But you gotta give the fans, the majority of fans, what they want. And if you're telling me Sasha Banks fans are gonna be okay with her not being in the main event, well, you're gonna deal with some real flack with that one, pal. But at the end of the day, WWE is very much a for-profit business. They will do what is best for business at the biggest possible matches that they can put together at the biggest possible show, that is WrestleMania. Although Io Sky deserves her flowers for being so awesome, being a real upgraded, important superstar, hard to imagine WWE right now, in this circumstance we're laying out, acknowledging the true genius of the Sky over a huge women's match at WrestleMania that has some real casual fan appeal. You want to make Banks versus Bayley match that much bigger, a stipulation could be added to it. How can you go wrong with a last women standing match on such a big stage? Make it stand out on the card. It's up to you to decide if you feel Sasha Banks or Bayley should win this match, but it would probably benefit Bayley a lot more to get that win, and Sasha simply just being back on WWE television would be interesting enough as it is. Sasha has always had a little bit more star power, just maybe a little bit more charisma. That wouldn't hurt her as much to lose at WrestleMania 40, by the way. And if she's only won out of the 7 matches at the grandest stage of them all, come on, it's okay. Everyone's just happy you're back to begin with. For her, there's going to be a lot to do in WWE in this potential situation, and a lot of new women to face along the way. The possibilities are quite endless. How would you book Sasha Banks returning to WWE? Let us know in the comments below.